You are not going to believe what just happened in New York. While you were scrolling, King Charles and Queen Camilla pulled off a state visit that has everyone talking, from Lionel Richie trying to start a dance party at Christie's to a mysterious drone that forced the Queen to hide in a doorway. But here's where it gets interesting. According to reports, the real drama wasn't on the guest list. It was happening behind the scenes, and one moment in particular might have sent shockwaves all the way to Montecito. Let me rewind. The King and Queen landed in the US for what was billed as a historic state visit, and almost immediately things took a turn no one expected. At the Greater Together reception hosted by the King's Foundation, the guest list read like a who's who of transatlantic royalty: Lionel Richie, Catherine Jenkins, the Marchioness of Bath. Sources claim the pop legend tried to get everyone dancing. But here's the thing: while celebrities schmoozed, a much more serious moment was unfolding miles away. Before the glitz, Charles and Camilla visited Ground Zero. It was a moving tribute, meeting families of 9/11 victims and first responders. According to eyewitnesses, the King and Queen took this visit very seriously. No photo ops, no rushed goodbyes. One attendee wrote to our team, describing how her mother's tennis partner, whose husband died in the attacks, was recognized by their majesties. That moment alone, sources say, changed the entire tone of the trip. But just when you thought it couldn't get more emotional, a completely bizarre incident happened at the New York Public Library. Queen Camilla, a passionate literacy advocate, was inside with none other than Sarah Jessica Parker. Yes, Carrie Bradshaw herself. They were promoting reading, something we can all get behind. But outside, a drone appeared. According to reports, security teams panicked. Was it a threat? The Queen was kept inside, unable to greet the crowds waiting for her. Later, it was confirmed the drone belonged to the Secret Service, totally safe. But here's the mini payoff. That moment revealed just how high the security alert was, and it gets deeper. According to multiple sources, the entire royal visit was shadowed by heightened nerves, not from the royals themselves, but from everyone around them. You see, many of the traveling media and staff had just come from the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and let's just say recent events had everyone on edge. But here's where the King's composure turned into something almost legendary. At the state dinner, or as the British call it, the state banquet, Charles delivered a speech that left even the most seasoned diplomats impressed. He joked about maps of the US looking like a family Christmas card, naming Carolinas, Georgia, Charleston, Annapolis, Prince William County. And then he stopped. According to people in the room, everyone held their breath, waiting him to mention Sussex County or Harrisburg. It never came. No mention of Harry or Meghan, and that silence, it spoke volumes. But the real showstopper was when he handed over a gift to President Trump, a bell from HMS Trump. The president was so excited he stood up before the speech even finished. Sources claim Trump kept saying, "My bell, my bell." Now, here's where I have to give my honest opinion. Watching the way Charles handled Trump was nothing short of masterful. Trump can be unpredictable, prickly even, but according to reports, the King made him relax like a house cat. No awkward moments, no political landmines, just warmth, wit, and a subtle reminder about Canada co-hosting the World Cup that had everyone chuckling. That's not luck, that's decades of practice. And speaking of practice, let's talk about the fashion, because this is where things get really interesting. Queen Camilla's wardrobe choices were not accidental. She wore Dior, Melania Trump's favorite designer. Smart move, right? But then she carried a Dior handbag that was originally made famous by Princess Diana. Yes, the Lady Dior bag. According to sources, Diana was given the only one in existence back in 1995. So why would Camilla choose that specific bag? Some say it's a nod to moving on from past animosities. Others say it's a subtle reminder that history isn't so easily erased. Either way, it worked. The fashion press went wild. And here's the curiosity gap. What did Diana think of Camilla? We'll never know, but the bag choice opened a loop that kept fashion watchers glued. Meanwhile, back on the ground, the media coverage was shockingly warm. The New York Post ran a headline, "They came, saw, and conquered." The New York Times praised the Ground Zero visit. According to reports, even the notoriously tough American press couldn't find much to criticize. One columnist noted that the king fed chickens in Harlem while the queen presented a Winnie the Pooh book at the library, mixing the surreal with the sincere, and it worked. But not everyone was impressed. Enter Eric Adams' successor. Actually, let's keep names safe. A certain New York official had previously said he wasn't bothered about meeting the king and that he would demand the return of the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Sources say when he actually met Charles and Camilla, he didn't mention the diamond at all, not once. According to our panel, he was all talk and no trousers. And honestly, that's the most New York thing imaginable. Talk big, then smile for the cameras.
Now let me take you inside a moment that almost no one saw coming. Robert Hardman, one of our royal experts, happened to be in Washington and stopped by the White House to drop off a book he'd written about the late Queen. According to reports, President Trump not only accepted the book, but started reading it on the spot. He then posted a glowing review on his social media. But here's the kicker. The president also shared that he's directly related to King Charles, 15th cousins to be exact, and he was thrilled about it. According to sources close to the White House, Trump couldn't stop talking about the royal connection. So here's the question everyone's asking. Did Prince Harry watch any of this from Montecito? According to our experts, it's hard not to wonder. Sources claim that before Harry and Meghan stepped back, the late Queen was keen for them to stay involved. They would have been invited to events like this, a state dinner, a historic visit. But according to reports, those bridges have been burned. One of our panelists put it bluntly, if your parents came to town and didn't visit, you'd be offended. America's big, but not that big. And yet, there's a twist. According to Richard Eden's reporting, President Trump and Melania are very keen for Prince William and Catherine to visit later this year. Melania is said to be a great admirer of Catherine. If that happens, the level of interest would be even bigger than this trip. Imagine William and Catherine at the White House. That's not a visit, that's an event. Now let's talk about security again, because this is where the story takes a breath. According to reports, the King and Queen faced no significant protests during this trip. That's unusual. In the past, the late Queen had eggs thrown at her. Prince Charles was once slapped during a visit to Latvia. And yet, nothing. Sources say the absence of protests is partly due to the breakthrough in Northern Ireland, brokered by Americans years ago. Many Democrats who boycotted the Queen's 1991 speech to Congress were applauding Charles this time. That's progress. That's a mini payoff right there. But don't think the royals are complacent. According to our team on the ground, the king is very tactile. He loves walkabouts. In Harlem, despite security concerns, he insisted on greeting crowds. And today, in Virginia, he's expected to get hugs. The late Queen wasn't a natural hugger. Charles, he's all in. And honestly, that's refreshing. So what's the takeaway from this entire visit? According to multiple sources, the king has cracked the code on winning over America. No arrogance, no royal stiffness, just charm, subtle humor, and a genuine respect for the host country. He mentioned the World Cup, he mentioned shared history, and he never once made it about himself. That's a masterclass in diplomacy. But here's the part that stuck with me. One of our experts pointed out that the king's charity work, his foundation and trust, now spans over 30 countries. That's a global footprint his father started with the Duke of Edinburgh's award, and now Charles is expanding it. According to reports, the US leg of this visit wasn't just about photo ops, it was about building lasting partnerships. The celebrities, they're not just decoration. Lionel Richie, David Beckham, these are people who bring real attention to causes that matter. Now let me leave you with this. According to our panel, the highlight of the trip wasn't the state dinner or the celebrity sightings, it was the moment at Ground Zero, a quiet, respectful tribute that reminded everyone why the US-UK relationship matters. And as one of our viewers wrote in an email, seeing a loved one's sacrifice recognized by royalty, that's something you don't forget. So what's next? The King and Queen head to Virginia today for a block party. Think British street party, but with American flair. There will be horses, parades, and probably more hugs. And according to reports, they'll return to the UK with a renewed sense of purpose. Meanwhile, the rest of us are left wondering, will William and Catherine make the trip? Will Harry ever reconcile? And what's the real story behind that Diana bag? One thing's for sure, this visit was anything but boring. And if you ask me, King Charles just proved that sometimes the best way to win over a crowd is to simply show up, be yourself, and maybe feed a few.